Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time to talk about the best champions to awaken. We're going to talk about this regardless of 7-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. This is going to be different than my general tier list that we update every single month. Hopefully you're watching that as well. We rate all the champions, general use, alliance, war, battlegrounds, the whole thing. You can check the boxes. This is going to be solely focused on the best champions for your awakening gems. And it really doesn't matter what star level you're talking about, because if you're concerned about your awakening gem use, and those typically are very, very precious resources for that highest star variety that you are playing at, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. I will differentiate though, because some of these champions are not available as 7 stars. We're going to start off today in the Mystic class. Now, obviously, to be one of the best champions to awaken, you have to be one of the best champions in the class. So I've limited this to only the top 2 tiers of my tier list and then selected from there, right? Mystic is very, very interesting in that going through it, the 7 stars, now the champions are available as 7 stars, they hit the criteria I've already said, none of them like really need this. Rarely does a champion really need the awakening, but none of them are getting like whole new fights they never could have taken or something like that. However, there is a series of them that benefits greatly from being awakened, right? They get a lot stronger. Typically, it's going to be in the high sig. Those that I'll be mentioning are America Chavez, Kushala, Purgatory, and the Hood. Very quickly, I'm going to show you these awakened abilities. You can see this with Purgatory. If the opponent is knocked out while Demonic Rampage is active, their soul is instantly captured. This is a big deal for Purgatory, and often you're wanting to take a series of fights. She is good in those initial single fights, but still, this is important. And then we've talked about this in some recent videos. The duration of the class soul's abilities are increased by 10 to 35%. She is a champion that if I take her to rank 3 or rank 4, probably more for me, I will consider putting my Sig Stones in. Now, another champion that is at rank available as a 7-star that I do want to shout out, it's just she's so new. We're really learning a lot about her. And this is Spiral. Okay, this is on top of the champions I just mentioned of Kushala, America Chavez, Purgatory, and the Hood. And this one is Spiral. And I do think she is in that general range. She's still in the 2nd tier. She could move up to that 1st tier though. And if you look in this, while Dancing Blades are active, Spiral instantly regenerates up to 36% of damage taken for blocked hits. That's really nice. You've seen me use abilities like that, right? With like Kushala, Sorcerer Supreme, that sort of thing. That's very nice. But it's really the second point. For each fervor on Spiral, the duration of incoming shock, incinerate, and poison debuffs are reduced by 5 to 10%. For me, this is if you're going to use an awakening gem, you want to make sure you really like playing her. She has a unique playstyle. A lot of people consider it similar to like Mixmaster and those sorts of things. However, she is a very strong champion, not just a serpent counter, but good outside of that as well. Part of that real surge in the Mystic class that happened at the end of 2024. I would use an awakening gem on her if I was going to sig her up. I don't know if it necessarily has to be sig 200, but you see, it goes from 5 to 10%. And you can see these curves. This is on the site, Khonshu's Ankh, really phenomenal site. I've been using it more and more lately for my data analysis and so for videos like this. But you can see as this goes, how this is getting to 9% here. And, you know, you're at like 7% at sig 142. So you're going to want this. I think I would keep my eye on that. If you like Spiral, I think she is well worth awakening. Now, quickly, we will talk about the champions that are just not available as a 7-star. Okay. And for me, those that you'd be considering, and the interesting thing about these are champions I think you want to take all the way up. You know, like I said, 4-star, 5-star, 6-star, and you get these and these are important to you, you're going to use them, right? This is Tigress. Start the fight with Primal Senses, Hunter Sense. It's a really big deal. Getting in, getting her damage going, doing what she's supposed to do. Her playstyle is a little tricky, but if you get her down, you're going to be A-okay. Dr. Doom as well. And then the other one is Absorbing Man, right? Phenomenal champion. Can't wait for him to come out as a 7-star. This is going to make his Omnimorph forms last up to 40% longer. That's a long time, right? One of the issues possibly with Absorbing Man is if he loses his forms and you got to kind of start all over in some ways. They last longer, you're going to be doing even better. In fact, he's a champion that if you're like looking at 6 stars and you pull him and you've got an awakening gem and you've got the 6 stones to take him to high sig, I would actually recommend him because he's going to be so helpful for you even as you work your way through Necropolis. He punches up okay, but all of those immunities incredibly, incredibly rare in the class, and his playstyle is not as unique, let's say, as Spirals. But as always, make sure you really, really love these champions before you use an item that is that precious. So just again, to kind of go over it, Chavez, Kushala, Purgatory, the Hood, definitely Spiral, And then if your champions are not available with 7 stars, Tigra, Doom, and then for me, it's really Absorb Me Man, Carl. And then as always, make sure you really love these champions. And if the champion you want to Awaken is in our 3rd tier and I didn't mention them, that doesn't mean they're not worthy. It's just when I'm going ahead and recommending some specific things for a video like this, these are the ones I'm going to recommend. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Cosmic. All right, Cosmic has a great amount of options. You're like, again, the same criteria. It's going to be in the first 2 tiers of my general tier list. Always make sure you check in on that every single month. This video, we update this every other month. So, and we format them a little bit differently because these are different priorities. So we're going to start off with the champions that are available as a 7 star. If you're looking just to use a single Awakening gem, you're not going to be sitting in 6 stones. It's not what you want to do. Let's just say, and this can happen. For me, it's going to be Medusa all day, every day in the Cosmic class. And it's going to be the second bullet point right here. Whenever Medusa inflicts an armor shatter or gains a fervor buff, gain a true accuracy buff for 35 seconds. That is a very long time. And it looks like it's actually just 35 seconds at Sig 1. I recall saying when she came into the game, I was like, this is the one. This is the one I want. If I can get her Awakened, she's going to immediately rank 3. She has been phenomenal. I don't think she's the bad champion to put 6 stones in. I put my 6 stones in from that event. But if you're just going to do one Sig level, just a single Awakening gem and move on to other champions, she is the best for me. She is phenomenal. Now, if you're going to be putting in 6 stones, I think, Angela receives a massive benefit. If you look at her Sig, she is in my 2nd tier. It's worth it. Nullify, auto block, ability, accuracy down. That's great. She needs to get her buffs, but she can get them. I would be looking to take her to a very high Sig, or you're always looking to take along Odin. Damaging debuff duration, so this is really good too. She's a very, very good champion. We also have Null. I'm checking my list here because I wanted to make sure we got this one right for you. This is a great champion. If you like Battlegrounds, this is really helpful to him, not only in his speed and getting into it, but also being a dual threat. You're going to want to make sure you respect into Despair for his defensive use. He's going to be reducing the attack of the opponent by a significant margin because of all these debuffs he's going to start the fight with. That's really helpful to him, helps him get into his ramp faster. But then there's the 2 big daddies, right? There's the 2 big boys here, Thanos and Serpent. Like I said, I've told you since day 1, new champion testing CCP, we have the new best 7-star Cosmic champion in the game. I feel strongly it is Deathless Thanos. Serpent is close, don't get me wrong, but for me, it is definitely Thanos, best dual threat, maybe in the game for Battlegrounds. Phenomenal in long form, phenomenal in like EOP distance, great in story quest, great in war. Great synergies, all these things. We've gone over all the things he can do. And basically what this does is this allows you to start off with necrotic energy, getting into his armor shatter significantly faster. I showed this and went over it at length in my new champion video on him. If you have any questions about it, I highly recommend you check that out. He is well worth it, and all of those stones were available in game. I don't think they are now, so I'm sorry about that if that's the case for you, but I still think he's very well worthy. Serpent is also very good. This is helpful in using him on attack and then, of course, on defense as well. It's really like pick your poison on there, or pick your dessert, I guess, because these are actually good things. They're both worthy. They're both great. And to me, they are their own little separate tier in the otherwise amazing tier of these Cosmic champions. Now, on the everyone else side, the non-7 stars, right? Champions that are available 6 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, all those sorts of things. And actually, I would actually even prioritize these as 6 stars. If you get them as 6 stars, I would suggest even taking them up first or awakening them first. And yes, I mean all 3 of them because they're not available as a 7-star and they're so incredible. The first is going to be Hercules. I'm sure you've heard of him. I'm not going to even click on the page. He's great. If you've got 6-star Hercules, awaken him, put the SIGs in. He's going to help you out tremendously, okay? The next one is Hulkling. I recall from day 1 of testing and CCP, this was one of my first, guys, you got to get this champion. He is phenomenal. I do think he is worth it. I think getting that furry buff duration increase by, even though it's just 3 seconds, it's still really nice. As you get in there, get your awakened hit, get the unblockable, do your big damage, and then just keep on going. It's really, really nice. And then if you're just going to be able to do Sig 1, the champion you're going to look at here as far as 6 stars are concerned is a Cosmic Ghost Rider. Don't Sig him up. There's absolutely no reason for it. If you pull him, fine. But it's just to get this power lock debuff triggered when reaching 5 Judgment is upgraded to Damnation debuff. That's a really nice deal. So the Damnation, power locked, heal blocked, fate sealed, and all other ability. It's just wild reading it. Like, it's funny to look back at Cosmic Bush Rider now and just like the things he can do and just how absolutely wild he and his kit are. So that is the Cosmic class. Again, just to repeat really quick, and I would prioritize them. Your 6 stars. If you get 6-star Hercules, Awaken him, put your 6 stones in. I think that is just overall very, very important. Okay. Hulkling and CGR. CGR is just your initial one. Hulkling, I would invest Sigs, not at the expense of Hercules though, but he's very worthy. And then as far as your 7-star champions that are available, Deathless Thanos and Serpent are the number ones for me. Null is great if you like what Null does. He's very worthy. He's just a slight tier down. It's like overall power level. Angela, I think another tier down. I'm going to be honest, but she's in the top 2 tiers of my list, so I'm including her. And then if you just want to do Sig 1, it is definitely Medusa. You get such a massive benefit to get that like true accuracy buff, I believe it is. And she is in the highest tier on my tier list, so she is very, very, very powerful. All right, let's go and move on to tech. Okay, so I purposely limited myself, one, for just the length of this video, but also to make sure it was really clear how great these champions were. There's other champions that are worthier of Awakening. You've seen my general tier list. Tech is where this ran into a lot of struggle. And the reason why is because this class, I think, is actually exceptionally well balanced. I think there's why there's so many that don't seem like they should be in the highest tier above all. But then you kind of look at them and you're like, oh, okay, they are, but they don't like pop like some of these other champions do in the other classes. So I'm going to kind of just mention them here. I'll do my best to kind of click on them while we talk about them. I'll say their names a lot because I know a lot of you like to listen to these videos, which is great. Shuri, this is just a Sig 1 because it's going to allow you to block unblockable attacks, right? Moving on, we're going to go into Prowler. Now, I've talked at length about Prowler. Hopefully by the time you see this, I've gotten a video out on Prowler. I'm leaving on a pretty lengthy vacation, trying to record a lot of videos in advance. I have my Prowler now at Sig 200, and I feel that at Sig 200, he is the best 7-star tech champion in the game. It's close, right? There's like Shuri's up there. These other champions about to talk are up there. But I would not just Awaken Prowler. I would, if you're just going to leave him at Sig 1 or Sig 10 or 20, I would not do that. I would do this and just immediately take him up. Make sure you like him, play him a lot unawakened, and then realize, hey, these fights will take like, honestly, in some cases, like 50% less time. If you have him awakened, depending on how small the health pool is, he can actually be a nuke in battlegrounds. He's well worth it. And he is, again, in my opinion, at Sig 200, he's probably the best tech champion in the game, if I had to pick just one. Moving on, we'll talk about Red Skull very quick. I'm not even going to click on him. Basically, it'd be Sig 1. He's great in Battlegrounds. I enjoyed questing with him. I've done a lot of Red Skull videos. It would just be Sig 1 because that gives you that armor up after 10 combos by anyone, right? By the defender, the attacker, it doesn't matter. Shocker. Now this is a tier down in my tier list. Shocker is still phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I've taken mine to Sig 88. I'm very happy with that. It's going to reduce the cost of the special cost, basically like your mana, right? Your power of the first special. Shocker is often about getting in, getting that first special 2, getting the stun, and ending the fight. Very much a battlegrounds champ and a war champ. He can be quested with, don't get me wrong, but reducing the cost of that first special one is a big deal. So if that's what you're into, he is well worth it. Now, Spider-Man Stark Enhanced, I think he is well worth it, especially because the only way to get him right now is through those really difficult Karina's challenges. So, you know, if you want to pick who I think is great, MCoC or Spider-Man 29, who's actually going to get mentioned later in this video, this could be a really efficient way to save that. You could pick 2 of those champions for those Karina's challenges and use your Awakening gems on this. This is a really nice way to help up his damage significantly. This is a great champion. Quickly, we'll talk about Ultron. I've taken my Ultron to Sig 200. I used the 6 stones from that event. This is opening up a whole new fight for him to be able to take, right? Reducing the duration of incoming shock and incinerates by 80%. That's a big deal, especially a champion who has 2 heals in his kit. Then we'll do Iron Man. This will actually increase his damage significantly. It has to do, I said I wasn't going to talk about every single one of these, but here we are. It has to do with the armor potency, right? Increase potency of armor ups, which if you look further into his kit is how he's actually increasing his damage. So it's a cool little like hidden thing in his kit. I really like that the designer did that. I thought that was fun because it's not too hidden, but once you realize it, it's really nice. Punisher 2099, we're getting a bit lower on the tier list. He is still in the 2nd tier. I think the other champions I mentioned so far are like overall better, but he's still good enough to be mentioned. I think just Sig 1 really going to help you out because the nanotech batteries are going to begin the fight with a 40% charge. That's a really big deal for him, especially in those shorter fights where he's trying to end it before the opponent even gets to a single special. And then the last one I do want to mention, and it's difficult because he is so new, right? Did the new champion video. I was like, no, he's not worth $500. No champion is, unless you're just a massive, massive whale. I'm going to try to pull him from the Titan Crystal. Currently, he is in the second tier in my tier list. Again, hopefully you have checked that out. But in that video that I did for the video of month of March, I was very clear. It's like, I will not be surprised if in a month or 3, he is in the highest tier of them all. I really like his awakened ability. I covered this at length in my new champion video, getting those potencies up to 10 to 30%, and even just the initial awakening of the offensive ability accuracy, defensive ability accuracy reduction is expanded to affect non-personal effects. It means this could be like nodes and things like that. That opens up whole new fights for him to take, and then getting his damage going. I personally will want to put 6 zones into him. If and when I pull him. So that is the tech class. And those are all the champions that are available as all the way up to 7 stars. Very quickly, we will talk about the champions that are not available as 7 stars. And if you really like Ghost, I would prioritize her, okay? But you got to really like her. She does have a unique play style. If you get it, she's incredibly powerful. Being able to generate power from a miss is a big deal. You don't even have to hit a champion and you're gaining power. Like, come on, right? How did they let that one through? Then we go to Future Ant-Man, who is just overall powerful. He was key for me in the Dimensional Beings run for the Korean challenges. He was incredible. He was doing a good amount of damage, not soloing in fights, but doing really, really well. Any incoming bleed and center effects suffer the 90% of duration. This is similar to what we talked about with Ultron. So you can see this from the SIG, why you would want to awaken him. I actually think, to me, you find more uses for him in the current end game for him than you currently do for Ghost. But Ghost is just so insanely powerful. You could go either way. And then, of course, last but not least is Nimrod. I do feel like the game has grown a lot, and what Nimrod does is often either not asked for or it's actually punished. So he's still great. I just feel like they have really neutered Nimrod and nerfed him without actually nerfing the kit. But when you look at this, we talk about when something, you see this in the signature ability, this goes back to like Purgatory, where it's getting a percentile increase. I was one of the first people, you could see the videos, the timelines. I was like, this guy is different, y'all. He's great. Put out a lot of videos. Probably a lot of you actually even watch them. And getting those effects up to 35%, like that is a big, big deal. So he's extremely worthy of your 6 stones and your 6-star 6 stones. All right, for all the complexity that was the tech class, we are about to hit the other side of the spectrum here with the mutant class. It is significantly more cut and dry. The mutants here, we're starting with the ones that are available 7 stars, and start off with none other than my boy, Mr. Sinister, whereas he's actually with the M's, which makes sense. You can see here, he's going to be getting all this genetic code. Hopefully by now, I've taken mine to SIG 200. The difference is noticeable. He's phenomenal without the awakened ability. I would only do this if you were going to take him. You don't have to take him all the way to SIG 200. Like, you can see how this scales, right? You can see this line. It's pretty much a straight curve up. You're getting a benefit for every little point you're putting in. I would invest. I did invest. I mean what I'm saying. Now we'll move on to Dazzler. And I've taken her to SIG 180. And she's in the Titan Crystal, so I didn't want to go all the way. But you can see even just the initial SIG 1 is a big deal because it allows her to take no damage back from the physical damage mechanics in the game. But then as you elevate the SIG, not only do you get a pursuit passive that can last for 10 seconds, it's a long time for something that if you're playing her well, you're going to keep up. This isn't obviously as long as Prowler, so it's different there. But then you get the 200% damage back mechanic on top of a very, very powerful champion. She's incredibly well made. I really like it. One of my favorite champions in the game, and of a similar power level to Sinister. So this is someone who, if you want just SIG 1, I think you're getting a nice benefit. But then you're going to want to put 6 stones into her at some point, right? Not quite the same as Sinister, but it's a similar idea on there. And then Omega Red, who a lot of players, I think, just don't play anymore. He kind of fell out of favor because he wasn't available as a 7-star. And then he was only available with that Omega deals thing. You do want him at SIG 200. Ups his damage significantly, all right? And then now that we have Deadpool X-Force, you don't have to take along Sabretooth, who's a fine champion, but Deadpool X-Force significantly more damage. Well, Sabretooth can ramp up too, but you get my point. Deadpool X-Force is a much better overall champion right now anyway. And then the last one, but not least, I would say is if you're looking to just do like Sig 1, and you're like, I don't want to put any 6 stones in, but I want to rank up this champion. I want them awakened. I want to be able to use them. I would actually go to Onslaught. He is a prestige monster, and I actually like his signature ability. A lot of smart players don't love it as much as far as like an investment point. Like they're happy to get more SIGs if they pull him, but they're not putting their 6 stones into him unless it's for prestige. But it's this right here. It's this Onslaught can block unblockable special attacks from skill champions. Does that come up all the time? No. But are those often in fights that you want to use him? Like, yeah. Not like all the time, but you're often using him for skill champions, and he's amazing. And having him be able to block unblockable special attacks, kind of a big deal and really, really nice. So if you're like, look, I want to rank up my Onslaught, I took him to rank 3, or I want to take him to rank 4 or 2, whatever it is for you. And you're like, I just have a single 6 stone or Sig Awakening gem. I don't have 6 stones to use. I don't have Dazzler, I don't have Sinister, whatever your scenario is when you want to use it. I think he's very, very worthy of it. It unlocks a whole new ability. This is similar to like Shuri, just not as powerful because his is locked to a single class, while she can just do it for all classes. So that is the 7-star champion, or the mutant champions that are available as 7 stars. Very quickly, we'll talk about the ones that are locked as like not as 7 stars. So your 6 stars, your 5 stars, those sorts of things. The first one is going to be Kitty Pryde. She does take some skill to use if you're not going to use, regardless. If you use her with her synergy partners, which I believe are Ghost, who is phenomenal. And I'm actually not remembering who the other one was. There's another one on here. Is it Tigra? Wanted to make sure I confirmed those, but yes, it is Ghost and actually Tigra. They just take this champion to a whole nother bonkers level. She's a lot of fun to play. I pulled the 6-star early, had an absolute blast with her. Highly recommend. She'll be phenomenal for you as you like make your way through the game, those sorts of things. She falls off a little bit like a lot of the 6-stars do now as you reach the in-game like PvP modes, those sorts of things. But as you're questing through the game, she is phenomenal for it. And then the other one we'll quickly talk about is Archangel, who 5-star, 6-star, similar for Kitty. Like if you get them, awaken them, put your stones into them, they're going to see you really far because they're that powerful. For Archangel, I would actually go ahead and put in more 6 stones. I did a lot of videos on this. You can look at mine at it. But for me, it's because he's going to be able to turn off the opponent's ability accuracy. And the higher the SIG, the more likely you are to turn it off with less and less neurotoxins. And if I'm trying to turn off the node and that thing and doing more damage, then I want that to happen as soon as possible. But if 6 stones are really, really rare for you, you can just do the Sig 1, have a good time. You can see when you get 4 up, you're going to be over 100%. So you'll be totally A-okay as well there too. All right, let's go and move on to the next class. All right, another class that's going to be a bit more on the simple side, and this is going to be the skill class. We'll start off very quickly with Okoye. Now, she's currently in the Titan Crystal, which makes it a little tough for me to say, hey, go use your Awakening gem, because there's if you're opening Titans, you're going through, she's pretty new in that crystal, you're going to have a relatively decent shot of pulling her again. That being said, just Sig 1's really nice for her, right? Top tier in armaments grant 3 ranks of the Deep Wounds Mastery, which is enhanced to include shock debuffs and inflict instant shocks. It's a big source of her damage, so that makes a lot of sense. And if you're like, dude, but I really want that ability, if you can, and you want to hold on to your Awakening gem, you can just run her with Shuri, which will do the same thing for you. So be A-okay until you can get her awakened on your own, or until she's coming out of the Titan Crystal. Moving on for the champions that are available as 7 stars, the next one would be Black Panther Civil War. Now, he is a little bit further down in my tier list. It's in the 2nd tier. Seems like a champion a bit more tailored for Battlegrounds and what Battlegrounds does. That being said, if you like him and you're using him there, you want the signature ability as high as it can possibly go. And it's all about, well, I mean, the rest of it is really helpful, don't get me wrong, but it's this first bullet point. Black Panther starts each fight with 5 to 20 reflect charges. The reflect charges are going to be the source of that massive damage that you see off of his special too. And if you can prevent yourself from having to like earn those 20 over the course of building up to your special 2, the fight's going to be significantly faster and significantly easier. So that goes a long way into helping you do what you are wanting him to do. And so he's worth it. And then the other champion, of course, would be You would not. If I forgot Crossbones, I would hope you would come to me and talk to me about this strongly in the comment section. I've always said he doesn't need to be awakened. All right. He doesn't need to be awakened to be good, but I'm not going to like, I'm not dumb. Having him awakened, I've got mine at, I think, SIG 140. It is incredibly helpful. It's great. You see me take hazard shift nodes and things like that. And not only does it allow you to get more of your Furies up, right? So Brock Rummel's Brutal Hydro Training allows him a 40 to 90% chance to prevent incoming debuffs. Each time he does so, he gains a Fury buff. So not just helping you get more Fury buffs, which is helping the rest of his kit and your damage go along, but you're removing these buffs that were dangerous to begin with. Then they're turning to Fury buffs, making it less likely for you to get those debuffs on you to begin with. So it works out. The synergy between the signature and what he's trying to do and the rest of his kit is absolutely phenomenal. If you enjoy Crossbones, he is, in my opinion, currently the best use of Awakening Gem and 6 stones in this skill class as we speak right now for champions that are available as a 7-star. A lot of qualifiers there, but you know, when you make a strong statement, it means something. Now, as your 6 stars are concerned, and this is very similar in that if you pull a 5-star, 6-star, like I would say, like, dude, yes. And it would start off with Kate Bishop, mainly because she is still literally one of the highest skill champions, even when you consider rated skill champions, even when you still consider PvP modes. Her damage is that insane, and it's off the SP1, and it is passive. She's also going to be a major workhorse for you in Necropolis, great in questing, great across the board, okay? So if you get that, you're going to want to get her SIG 200. Do it. Make her as powerful as you possibly can as far as I am concerned, right? The next one would then be Nick Fury. This is going to give him that second life, and I'll have that second life last just a little bit longer. SIG 1 would probably be a-okay if you're like tight on your SIG stones and you've got an Awakening Gem. It's going to help you out a lot. He's a great champion and can help you. Then we're going to move on to Kingpin, who I think actually punches up still pretty well as far as like fighting your 7 stars and handling things. Let's see, where is my boy? I love me some Kingpin. As you can see here, you start a fight with 2 to 4 rages, helping you get into your damage and going that much faster. And then when Kingpin's overpower buff ends, he has a chance to gain up to 5 rages, with each having a 30 to 90% chance to activate. So you can see you're not like going to get all of them back, but you can. And so that's helping him stay strong, keep going, doing the thing he's supposed to be doing. So again, this fits in incredibly well with his kit. And then last but not least, but I do think least out of these 4 for sure, for me, it would be Valkyrie. Really, really good champion. I wonder if she's going to be coming for a 7-star anytime soon. And I would want to get her all the way up to SIG 200 if I was going to do this. And I would very much prioritize Kate Bishop, and then probably Kingpin, then Fury, and then Valkyrie along the way. And then let's go and check out the final class in Science. All right, on to our final class in Science, and I'm going to actually start with the champions that are not available 7 stars here on this one. And the first one we're going to talk about very quickly is actually going to be Red Guardian. I love this champion. I had so much fun testing him on CCP to do the buff champion video. Loved him. I would want him at SIG 200 if I could. Did he need it? No, probably not. Remember, he is buff immune as well. But you can see that the maximum durability for the Blade of Shield is increased by 1 for every 40 signature levels, up to 50. That's a nice source of damage. And then heavy and special damage gains a really nice critical rating. And crits are very important to him for each unique debuff on the opponent. So, and remember, he's buff immune. I can't wait for him to come as a 7-star. I love playing this champion. And I think I also like the character from the movies and things like that quite a bit. So that plays into it. And then the other one I would recommend, and I would probably recommend him over Red Guardian if you're like choosing between one for your 5-star, your 6-star, is going to be Scorpion, just because he is so insanely versatile. The shifting immunity, shifting damage sources, he's going to help you out so much story content as you move your way through to get to Valiant and your 7 stars and things like that. This is also helpful for PvP modes if you do choose to use him in it. So I would go ahead and take him up to. If I forgot to edit that, I am really sorry. Just know that I will be editing this on a plane as I fly to Japan with my family. So I'm doing my best here, and I apologize. If you have a lot of 6 stones, I would take him all the way up to SIG 200 for Battlegrounds uses. Get that heal back. It really does do a lot. And then the signature just 1. While the opponent is inflicted with a taunt, Scorpion can block and block special attacks. Really interesting how many times I've said that in this video. Lets you know that that's sometimes something that they include in signature abilities that is really, really powerful. And one of those, like just SIG 1 is great, starter champions. All right, let's go and talk quickly about the 7 stars. These are a bit like more honorable mentions for me, but they're so powerful. Science is such a powerful class. I did feel like I needed to include them. It'd be Spider-Punk. You're going to want that Sig escalating. It doesn't need to be Sig 200 anymore. He's a great champion, does plenty of damage. Really love him. Spider-Man 2099, he's just not as asked for as much these days, right? But he was one of the best war champions. A little slow for Battlegrounds, which is why I don't think we see him as much. And then story content, it's like either the lane is asking specifically for what you're doing, or we're not seeing him, but he is a fantastic champion. He is really hard to get as a 7-star, but I think would be worthy of it, especially because, you're not going to pull him from a crystal or something like that. And then Count Nefaria, I've done the video on him and his Sig and the whole thing. I see it. He's a very, very powerful champion. I'm working on getting mine to Sig 200, and I've recently taken him to rank 3. Really, really phenomenal champion. Now, these are the champions that are like I think make the most sense though. Okay. As far as like, I'm giving default advice. Remember, if you love Spider-Punk, do it. Go for it. He is well within the worthy tier. So now we're going to start off with Luke Cage. If you're just going to do like Sig 1, you don't have 6 stones to put in, you pulled your Luke, the 7-star pool is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to be harder. And it's for this awakened ability with the indestructible passive when you get hit. I mean, that's like having a mini indestructible boost running around with you at all the times. It does go on cooldown, so it takes a long time to come back, but still, it has saved me so much. It allows you to tank special 3s. It is incredibly powerful and allows you to be so much more aggressive in the way you play him, and he is a phenomenal champion. Now, champions that I do think are slightly better and are worth it, again, is going to be Silk. I think Silk, you're almost happy with Sig 1 too. Striking the opponent with a heavy attack or while their back is against the wall inflicts a slow debuff for 2 seconds. Originally, this felt like this was tailor-made for Rintra, which is great for Rintra, don't get me wrong, but there are other uses for it. Now, it's not like a full-on slow like Sorcerer Supreme or something like that has, but it is really helpful. The second bullet point, the regeneration, that's really nice, but she's doing so much damage that if you're taking in someone who's regenning this much and she can't kill him, you may have taken in the wrong champion to begin with, especially in the science class with all of their abilities to handle regen. So that might come up sometime, I don't know, but I'd be happy just at Sig 1 with her. And then the last one here is also going to be Photon, who it makes sense to put your Sig stones in if you're going to use her defensively for Battlegrounds. There is a little bit there if you're like taking a lot of blocked hits or something like that. But again, it's that Sig 1 here. Photon's improved control over electromagnetic spectrum grants your immunity to all neutralized effects. Now remember, this was the best champions to awaken, with the idea being that your awakened gems are incredibly precious to you. There are a ton of champions who are in my first tier and my second tier, who I didn't mention, third tier. They are worthy in general. It's just if you're looking for the most efficient uses, this is it with my opinion. We will continue to update this every couple of months as the game continues to evolve, meta shift, defenders come out, and new champions come out. And I have a strong feeling that when we do this in 2 months, Bastion will like be officially on here and not like some kind of honorable mention, hey, keep your eye on sort of call out. And I do think Okoye might be, but I have hopes we get some more powerful skill champions along the way too. 2 months away isn't that far, so we'll see. As usual, though, let me know what you think you got right. Let me know what you got wrong. And I'm really sorry if I didn't edit that out. Again, remember, I'm going to be editing this on a very, very long flight with my family. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.